Hey, what's going on, Archons? Welcome to another episode of KeyThoughts, my weekly vlog on my musings of the game of KeyForge. This week is kind of an interesting topic for me because I had this sort of epiphany, realization, dawning moment, whatever you want to call it, and I want to share that with you this week. We're also going to do a card of the week. And it's a new month, which also means a new set of drawing for decks has begun. And I hope you saw yesterday's winner. Congrats to my guy Vault Boy for winning the first pull of July. There will definitely be more to come. If you want to be a part of this, become one of my Patreon supporters at the lowest level, and you got an entry each month into the draw. And there's some other tiers if you're interested as well in other things. But enough on that. Let's get into the card of the week, which I think is a pretty cool one. It is... There we go. It's called Backup Plan. This card, the reason why it's card of the week is because I've never seen it before. So therefore, it gets a special shout out. And the art is pretty hysterical. My apologies to my guy, Scuzzy, because it is literally a bunch of little Gruins just fleeing in looks like terror. And this card is an action with the playability that states, for each creature your opponent controls in excess of you, archive the top card of your deck. Really nice come from behind card. Gives you ability to maybe set up a turn if you know you have it and your opponent has a board, and especially if you have a board wipe. Kind of gives you that ability to really capitalize on having a big tempo swing there potentially. So I think it's a really unique card. Great design. We've seen other versions of that sort of thing where if you're behind on board in one way or another, you get either, it's been in Sanctum actually, you either get to destroy creatures or you get an Ember Burst. So it's cool to see the Logos version of that, and hopefully there will be more designs with that carry on the vibes of a house and you being behind in some manner. I think that's really cool. But as I said, I had an epiphany this past week, and it was in relation to Dark Tidings, because I'm kind of in a point with Dark Tidings now when I'm opening decks. I'm not feeling the excitement of, oh, it's a new set or anything like that, which just means it's a natural progression. It happens with every set for me. There's interesting discoveries. I know what I'm going to see in the common level when I open up any given house. So I kind of get a vibe for what I could be pulling or not pulling for that matter. I am not noticing a general weakness in terms of like the Worlds Collide Brobnor sort of thing. That doesn't exist the same way as it did in that. But there are some less enticing houses, let's say, but nothing really over the top. But upon this, it made me realize how much I love Mass Mutation, especially with the fact that I've been playing Mass Mutation on my Friday night IRL games a lot with my friends, since I didn't get to play much sealed Mass Mutations during the pandemic. And since him and I have now been hanging out regularly and playing KeyForge, I thought it's a great way to get to play some sealed Mass Mutations, since I have an influx of decks and can use it for some content. But what I'm kind of coming to the realization is there's this ebb and flow with the set. When it first comes out, you're so excited, you don't understand it. Then you get to the realization, understanding, you see how the cards come in terms of what are the most common things in each house that you're most likely to see. Then you have also the, I guess, pros and cons of a set and how you adjust to that, and what you either like or don't like about a set because of that. Now, here's the real fun thing, which is the epiphany. The epiphany isn't that I started to become less excited about Dark Tidings. It's that secondary thing of now when I go back and revisit a set that I have been taking a step away from for a while. So I kind of went, as you may have noticed, that AOA binge. Then I also went in some Worlds Collide, and then I came back to Mass Mutations now. I realized that I think Mass Mutations is my absolute favorite set. The way the set plays, the distribution of commons, I find it a really fun set. I mean, the only thing you can say is the lack of scaling Ember control, but I think it's kind of an offensive set, to be very frank. I think you go on the offensive with it, and it's just a ton of fun. Like, I have so much fun with the way that it plays. My favorite deck archetype, that being a Dav deck, exists there. followed closely by a Z-Force deck. Well, I wouldn't say that one's my favorite, but I do enjoy my Z-Force decks, no doubt about it. And I've just come to realize how much I appreciate the offering of Mass Mutation. Now, I felt this way about Worlds Collide. I thought it was my favorite set, so maybe there's a trend here where it's the set before suddenly becomes my favorite, and when we see the next set comes out, I'm gonna be like, oh my goodness, Dark Tidings is my favorite set. So we'll have to see if we reference this video in the future as a result of that. But I did realize recently that the reason why I love Worlds Collide so much is based strictly on the star lines that exist there, and to a lesser extent the dinosaurs and logos, but it's the Star Alliance of Worlds Collide is just something else, and I thoroughly enjoy playing it. Now, Mass Mutation for me, I find just gives me everything I want. I think that it has the first instance of something we haven't seen before, which is using a trait to have a thematic quality exist, and that is mutants versus non-mutants, and there's cards that support and also go against that. So it's really fun to have that in Mass Mutations, and I love the uniqueness of that set, just like Dark Tidings has some uniqueness as well with the way it plays, the tide, etc. I'm really enjoying the evolution of KeyForge in that regard, but I'm definitely realizing that I love playing Mass Mutation more than any other set. When I open them, it feels good. There feels like this level of balance exists there that doesn't exist in some of the other sets. Like it doesn't feel like one house is truly OP. There is obviously some OPness in logos, which seems to be a trend, but it's not like over the top, and it was the emergence of Untamed again in a really cool way. So I really enjoy playing Mass Mutations. It's my favorite set, and I'm realizing why every time I play it, and the enhancements definitely add to that, because you get to be put in positions where you can do plays that the enhancements create that would otherwise not be able to be done. So as I just muse about this, it made me wonder, I wonder if anyone else has had similar things, especially with the ebb and flow of a set, how you get really into it, especially in the discovery stage, then you kind of maybe get tired of it when you realize what it is, or your interest wanes. I wouldn't say maybe get tired of it. And then you start visiting other sets that you haven't played in a while, maybe decks that you haven't played in a while, going back to those, the playing the greatest hits, so to speak. And I'm just curious your thoughts on this topic. And also, do you have a favorite set that kind of has emerged over time, or have you one that came like right from the get-go? I know there's a lot of AOA lovers out there, and they stay true to that. Speaking to you, Vault Boy. And just wondering how you fall with this idea. So please comment, let me know. I love to hear everyone's opinions on these topics. And as always, folks, may your ember never be stolen and your keys forged promptly. Have a good one.